So in hierarchy, we'll be just creating two tables. One would be storing the relationship and the other table will be storing our data. So you can say it would be kind of an employee database where we'll be having three types of employee records. One would be manager, second one would be lead, and third would be a employee or a developer. That kind of a way. So we'll be having a hierarchy of the same thing. Okay, and how we'll be able to create that hierarchy in those three steps in a provisioning tool, how we'll be able to see those things. So that is something which we'll be seeing. So the provisioning tool part we'll be seeing once we'll be starting the provisioning tool. But as hierarchy is a 4-step process. So first thing is how to be in those 4 steps. And then later on the queries and packages, we'll be going ahead and doing that in later on sessions for that. So as you stated that match and merge process, right? So in the match and merge process, when history is enabled, so hmerge is history of merged records that will be stored over here. So you can see over here, merge date and unmerged date, operation IDs and all are being stated. Match is one of the table where it will be stated that which particular row ID is matched with which particular row ID with which rule. So we have created 3 rules or 2 rules, right? So in both those rules, which particular rule it was being matched and how much score it was being added up. If it was an auto merge or if it was a manual merge, those kind of things will be stored over here. Strip table will be stored. Yeah.
Ajay, in match table, do you have any data over there? So you told, right?
It would be
Of course, in
just
the first,
right. So
yeah,
you're talking about the tokens, right? So tokens will be
not
stored.
token.
Yeah.
I actually that also I want to know. I was asking about like here we will be able to see, right, which row ID has got merged to
Right.
which other row ID. So
Right.
which is the original? I mean, what to say? Say A is getting
The
merged to B,
survivorship
then which is
one. Yeah, the survivorship one, which will be in the base object, and all the others will be in cross reference, right? So
yeah.
this row ID object will be the main row ID object, which you will see in base object.
Okay.
Okay.
So that is a winner, right?
All right.
Okay.
So these would be those, and row ID user, which user has gone ahead and done the match process that is being listed down over here. If
Okay.
any match has been done and you have to go ahead and unmerge that record due to any reason, then this match reverse indicator will be populated. Match score, how much percentage of match it had for these two row ID objects. So those things, and if there is a task which was being assigned for merging, manual merge, right? So that will be populated over here. So you can see that what all are nullable. So all those like this, all these are nullable attributes, right? Except this auto merge indicator, which has a default, and these two, because this one will be the winner one, and this one is the earlier one. And original row ID object, which will be matched. So this one is, you can say, once the data is being matched, so the row ID object becomes a different one later on, right? But in the cross reference, what would be the original row ID object for that particular record? So it might happen that the record which got merged, you went ahead and unmerged that particular record, and then you go ahead and merge that record with some other record. So there would be another row ID object for that, and it would be stating that this record was first matched with this one, but later on this record has been shifted to this. So this is you can say indirect process of match and merge when there is a unmerge and then later on a merge happened with that particular record. So it will be populated in those areas. So this original row ID object you'll see in cross reference as well, this one.
Okay.
So that will be populated over there. Okay.
Yeah.
PCTL and CTL tables are there for which particular row ID object will get created, and this is when it will get updated. So any data which is getting created or updated, those row ID objects with the creator name or the, you can say, updated person, the user ID will be stored. That's it. It doesn't store anything. Whereas the strp table will be storing your token, that is SSA key. Okay.
Token, when you say, I didn't get that. Which token is
The
supposed to be
token basically which will be generated. So like
for
we
merchant? That
correct
one.
the column one,
Oh,
right? So over here that will be generated.
okay. Okay.
VCT,
So if we go to, if we look into this strp table, so we'll be able to see all the tokens for
right?
each and
You can
every event.
see correct. So you can see over here, or you can just go over here in the table directly. And in the match and merge, in the match key distribution, you can see all the tokens over here. You can go ahead, click on each token, whichever will be generated for any of the records. You can just click on that and you'll be seeing all the.
Okay. So that table, is it something like, I mean, does it contain all the
All the
tokens
tokens. Yeah, it will be
which has,
contain all the tokens for this particular table.
okay.
Then VCT and VXR are for validations. This is a history table, which I even have less idea about because this is something which I never utilized. So a little bit less idea about it, to be very honest. After this one, like the hierarchy management, in the provisioning tool, there would be certain number of things which are conceptual. So that is like when do they have to be utilized, situational based. So that is something which you have to understand. Most of the things would be exactly similar, how to create those things, how to add the fields and all those things. So that will take less number of time. But to create them, it takes time. But to understand them, that is like if you're understanding one single part, how to create it, you'll be able to understand four different things, how you will be able to create. So in provisioning tool, the major factor is when to create, what to create. Okay. So any other questions for match and merge?
Right now, nothing from me.
No problem. Basically, these are simpler if we understand, then to create it. So basically, we understood that when the path will be required. If the path is not required, then we'll just go ahead, create match columns and match rules. That is pretty easy stuff, how to create it, right? The major part to understand in the match and merge, why I took it in a separate session, was to make you understand that what is the major background analysis or background work which Informatica does. Because once you understand that, then you'll be knowing that, okay, these things will work accordingly. Okay, so for hierarchies, I'll just give you steps. So if you want, you can go ahead and write down, or do you want to have a screenshot of this? And you can take the screenshot for the match and merge, what we do and what not, because this is something which I just wrote down yesterday itself while explaining you guys. This exact words, you won't find it anywhere. So if you want, I can go ahead and do it like this, format, font. I'll just go ahead to this part, Control A, font. You can go ahead and make it 18. Yeah. If you want to go ahead and do a screenshot of it, you can go ahead and do that. Let me know if we can go ahead and remove this, and we'll go ahead and do the history part. It's not history, the hierarchy part. So in history, you can see there is an entity icon and all those things, right? So when you go ahead in a scratch project and there is nothing which is being created, nothing means, so over here, the main configuration or main tables which is required for internal process for hierarchy to be created is these three tables. Okay. So once these three tables are created, how that is created, if you don't have these three tables and if you just click on hierarchies, that will ask you that the tables are not created, the entity icons are not there. You just press yes and yes, and there would be only two pop-ups which will be coming up. And afterwards, you'll see these icons over here and these three tables which will be created. So RBO class utilizes your entity objects and relationship object. A rel type will be utilized for creating the relationship type, and it will be storing those data. Hierarchy will store your hierarchies, which we'll be creating over here. So relationship object that will be stored as data into RPO relation rel type, hierarchies in hierarchy, and entity object in RPO class. Okay. It's basically the data it will be storing, a relationship kind of a thing for that. Okay. So first thing is we'll be going ahead and creating entity objects. So there are two ways to create entity objects. So first is entity objects, which are necessary. There are two ways to create it. One is to convert. Second is to create. Okay. How we can do that? Just go over here. I'll just acquire the right lock. Right click. You can see convert base object to entity or relationship object. Right? Foreign key relationship object and new relationship or entity objects. So we'll go ahead and we'll create new. So these two both are the same. You can see this is for converting it. So you just go ahead, select which one you want to go ahead and do it, create it for. And this foreign key relationship object, you just modify a base object and you create how many foreign keys you want to. So for this, you want to have a entity object needs to be created. Okay. So first is we go ahead and create a new entity. So it's the same thing which we created, right? But you can see over here, it is creating a foreign key relationship directly with the BO class. So we'll just go ahead and create entity objects as EO. And we'll say employees. And this is what we'll get. So it will go ahead, create a base object for us. This EO employees, you'll see over here. Everything which is needed will be already done. State management done. If you want history, then you will go ahead and enable history for that. Otherwise, it will be all done. When you go over here, you'll see one extra attribute which is created and one extra relationship which will be created for BO class. Right? And these one I can just show you over here. We'll just go ahead, HM packages and BO class, and you can see I can showcase you. So earlier I had some data over here because I created few tables. So you can see consolidation indicator, settings and display name, PO class, all those things are there. Right now we just created. Okay, these are entity types which are there. So you can see deleted app. All these are deleted already, right? So in the put package, put and all we have to create for deleting all these records over here, and we can see all those things. So in the hierarchy manager package, I can create for other display packages for file type. I just created a group, I think. Next, it would be for rel type, RPO. These are the class codes. This is the rel type. All these things. Because we have already created those things, so hence you are able to see these. You can see it deleted. I've already created those. You'll see hierarchies which we created, and I went ahead and deleted all those things. So in the hierarchy, you just create only a single hierarchy, but you create multiple relationship type, so that you will be able to see in a single hierarchy, you will be able to get multiple hierarchies which will be there. So how we go ahead and create between two different tables. So like over here, we have created one single employees table. We'll go ahead and we can go ahead and create another table as well. And the relationship between this table and that table will create, or we'll store it in a different table altogether. And for the recursive relationship, we'll have a separate relationship table. Then only we'll be able to create relationship. So over here, we have created these, right? In the same way, we'll go ahead and create a relationship type object. So you can say the relation will be always in BR, business relation. Employee rel. So you can see I'm utilizing both the places at same place. And over here, which one you want to have as parent. So over here, we can say parent ID. And over here, we can say it as child ID. As and you can see the foreign key in the hierarchy and the relationship type. These are also getting created as a relationship for having it in relation. So we'll go ahead, state OK. And the same we can go ahead and see it in schema. All the relations are being created over here. And in the same way, we'll be having all the attributes. Okay. Once we are done creating the relationship type and relationship entity object, then we'll go ahead and create types of them. That what are the types of record it will be storing. We'll say that it will be having a manager over here. What are the other things? So everything we have to go ahead and what, let's say it's a blue color icon. We just have this. Okay, we'll just utilize this one. So everything, so and these icons are over here. So we'll go ahead and save it. So it will be created over here. So all these things are there. We created a manager type. We'll go ahead and create a over here. It is fine if you'll go ahead and have a space in the code. Okay. Then we are stating that there would be a developer as well. Why I am actually going with 3? Because 2 relationships, like over here, what we are trying to do is manager is directly pointing to lead and lead is pointing to developer, like that kind of a thing. Because these two, you can go ahead and use it in the child object as well, that one single manager is having how many leads, it will showcase you. What we are trying to go over here is how many managers will be there. One manager is having how many leads, it will be showcased in a tree-based structure, in a hierarchical way. So in hub console, you will see like this. So one would be like this, then the other would be going like downwards over here, the other would be going like this. So it's a left to right approach. But in E360, with all that which they have gone ahead and done, it will be a top-down approach, a proper hierarchical way. We'll go ahead and create one more. Okay, so we'll go ahead and save it. So we are saying that in this particular entity object, there will be 3 types of people which will be there. So in the hierarchies, we'll be creating a hierarchy and we'll say it as employee or a organizational chart. We can see that. And you can add hierarchies. So that particular hierarchy will not be going inside it. It will be created as a separate other outside. Okay. So like this, we have a tree structure, right? In hierarchies, there is no tree structure. There is hierarchies and all the hierarchies listed down as child. So there is only parent and child. We don't have a parent and child and grandchild level. But in the entity types and in the relationship types, we can go ahead and we can go with as many level as we want. Okay. But over here, we'll be creating separate relationship. So from this to this, there would be a relationship. From this to this, there would be a relationship. From if there would be anything afterwards, so all those relationship will be created separately. So over here, we'll be stating a relationship type. So it would be entity 1 to entity 2. So it would be from manager to team lead. From entity 1 to entity 2, if we want to have a direction any other way, we can go ahead and do in all these directions. Which hierarchies we are having. So any hierarchies, all that particular relationship type which we are stating, that relationship type will be utilized by which hierarchy. So we'll say manager to lead. Okay. And we can have I didn't pick any colors, so this will be my color. We'll say that. The same way, we'll go ahead, create another relationship type, which will be from team lead to developer. In the same color, it would be, say, so right now I have put in these two cases, right? But how we'll be seeing that these three will be connected like this? Because over here, these two are two different relationship type, right? So all these things, once we are done, so we'll be creating, later on, we'll be creating queries. So there are 4 steps which we did. First, we created the objects for entity. Then we created the relationship object. Then we created relationship type and the entity types and the hierarchy. Sorry, not 4, 5 steps. So it is 5 steps are first, create your entity objects. Second is create relationship objects. Third, you can go ahead and create hierarchy. Then you have to create entity type. Then fifth, you have to create relationship type. Once these 5 steps are done, then for using it in Hub Console, you have to create queries for each relationship type, queries for each, or you can just directly put a relationship type, entity objects, queries for hierarchy, and the RB objects which we went ahead and created. All these queries will be having put packages. So if I'll go over here in the hierarchy manager, you'll see there are no profiles which are being added for this user account, right? For adding that into the user profiles, so you can see there is a default profile which doesn't have anything. So we'll go ahead, we'll add a profile in this one. Once we go ahead and add, we'll go ahead and add both the relationship, and we'll say so it will add complete set of things in this particular profile. Let's see. So all these things comes over here. So if you want to go ahead and add it in the entity, first you add it over here, and it will state that you don't have any so over here hierarchy manager configuration. Complete columns have not been configured for OID object, and there are no attributes. So you cannot go ahead and add any data. Nothing over here and nothing in this one as well. So for this one to be created, we first need in the schema, we need all the attributes which will be there. These are relationship objects, but in the employees, I need to go ahead and create attributes. Let's see. And we'll have a type. Type means if that particular employee is a manager, a team lead, or a developer. Same way in the relationship, we have these rel type and all those things are there. We'll just go over here and we'll now try to add. What is it stating? Throw ID usage type equals to 1 for developer. Okay, the package has not been configured. For all that, we need to have the package, the put package for all the tables. And then we'll be able to do it. So I'll go ahead and give you the entire queries and packages for hierarchies. If you want to go ahead and utilize an Hub console. So we'll go ahead, create one and record over here. We'll create a record over here, and we'll go ahead and add a relationship between this particular entity and this particular entity. And we'll select which particular relationship type we are actually going ahead and creating. Is it for this manager to lead or to lead to developer? Which particular relationship type we are trying to go ahead and add. Okay. And we'll see that particular area in this section as left to right. We won't see in top to down approach. We'll see from left to right. So that is what it is used for. Second thing, which is this relationship type is utilized for is network diagram. Now, what is network diagram? Network diagram is, you can state it as a mesh architecture where it is utilized for product type, where you have to go ahead and set relationships like, okay, this product is related to electronics, and in electronics there will be multiple products which will be there, and also we can go ahead and see what all accessories you can buy it for. So that would be a mesh kind of a thing. It's not a hierarchy. Your electronics and then your XYZ electronic item can be in a hierarchy, but a product's accessory is never into an hierarchy. All those are in same level, right? So that is actually a mesh when we go ahead and create. Your accessories can be there. A related other electronic item might be there. So those are certain number of areas where you can state that, okay, here your network diagram will be utilized. Okay. So I would say with this, we are good with the Hub console. The only parts which we will be touching later on will be I'll just give you the queries and I'll showcase how this thing will work in Hierarchy Manager. But other than that, what is remaining is roles, how we create that and how we'll be going ahead and giving the access. Second thing which will be remaining is batch viewer and batch group, how we'll go ahead and utilize those. And third thing will be exports and imports by repository manager.
Could you just give an idea on the data manager and merge manager also, because we have seen it being used in our projects.
Okay, so data manager, I can just showcase you. I think we have created for all this. Yeah. So for party, there is a party package, right? We created the queries and packages, right?
Okay.
So it is utilized for adding the records. So you can see this one. I can go ahead and create the records from over here. As we have enabled the state management, I can go ahead and select which particular state it should be. So I'll just go ahead and state it as, let's say we'll go with pending. We'll go with registry ID is, let's say 152. This one gender is okay. I haven't created the relationship. Let me just go ahead and create a quick relationship for gender because we already have gender relationship. We'll go and a relationship for gender. Here, gender code. Perfect. So we'll just go ahead and utilize that. We'll add. We have to reload it. So reload. It is not it should have given me this kind of an object. Why it is not giving, I have to actually check. Just reload the entire database. Or it might be, yeah, it has given, right? So let's say as we have other trust as well, right? So we can utilize any of these custom, then we can go ahead and set what is the trust code which we are trying to override, basically. So we can override any trust code from over here. And you can see over here, I'm getting. So what is a reference entity is, so we are seeing right now like this, right? So once we will be going ahead and creating an entity with the same, okay. This data will be created, right? Yes, we can go ahead and see over here. This one is coming in with a consolidation indicator of 4, and there is a upstate indicator -4, basically 0. Cross reference, you can see the same thing. Row ID object 1, row ID of xref, and object, right? Everything. Okay. Then in history table, we are seeing the same thing. History cross reference will be having the same data. Now we'll go ahead and create one more. Anything, let's say the registry ID is same, gender is F, hub status, let's say again a pending state, and we'll say active. Okay, so right now I cannot go ahead and change the system names, so I'll just go ahead. Second record is being added for that. Now we'll go ahead and edit this particular record, which we just created, right? So how to update the consolidation indicator? There is no address for this particular table. So over here, this is the history table. We can go ahead and see. Then this is for editing the record, adding the record, just set the record state. Do we have to go ahead and set it as delete? Then we can set it, but why it is not giving me to activate it? You can set it for promote. Do I have to go ahead and promote it? But why? This is something I'm a little okay. So in the xref, I have to go ahead and promote this record. Nice. So from the base object, I cannot go ahead and do in the cross reference. So I have utilized Hub Console Data Manager from very long time now, to be honest, to change the states. So from base object, as you can see, we can only go ahead and delete it, soft delete the record. Whereas from cross reference, we can change the state to active. Once we go ahead and change the state over here, I'll just showcase you over here in the cross reference history table. So you can see there are two records which are being created for the single row ID object, which we discussed, right? From now on, if I'll go ahead and change any data, it will be creating an extra record for me. But in cross reference, you'll only see two data which will be there. So one is with hub state indicator 1 and the other one is 0 with the pending. In history, you will see three records, 1 and 1. Cross reference history also, we saw that there were three records, right? It is SCD2, right?
Yeah, correct.
So that is basically what is. So you can see the other part is if I'll go ahead and create one more attribute, let's say with the active, we'll go ahead and say it as Alex registry is, let's say this, gender is M, status is active. Okay. Now you can see that there are two white attributes, or I would say two white columns, and the other one is yellow, right? So in data manager, if there is any record which is pending, it will showcase us as a yellow. So for this one, we have to go ahead and set the status active. So if I'll go ahead and do a state as inactive for this, once the data is active, go ahead and do a delete. So once the state becomes delete, you can see it over here in the history cross reference. So you can see the second which was being created. So for third, okay, I created third as directly as 1, and I just went ahead with delete. Same thing will be over here in the history table also. Right? We can change back again to active. So that is something which we can do for a soft delete record. So for doing a purge, we cannot do purge from over here.
Purge means that hard delete, right? Like
Right.
permanently remove.
Correct. So purge, we cannot do it from over here. For doing a purge, we have to go ahead and set the delete flags, and then we have to execute the records for deletion. Basically, your data manager is not created to do any purging. That is why. Now we'll go ahead and add some address as well.
Ajay, just one more thing. Here you are selecting the package, right? So
Right.
it is just a query to pull which all columns, or if you have any conditions. So whatever we
Correct.
are writing there.
In the query, right? So whatever we have wrote in the query, that will be utilized for this package.
That put doesn't have any significance, right? I mean,
No.
uh,
Put
okay.
package is when you go ahead and create the package. So in the packages, when we went ahead, we created a package which was package. We have to enable the put, right? So only those packages which have a enable put will be only utilized over here.
Oh, okay. I mean, in data manager or
In the
only
data
in that?
manager,
Okay.
or also in the merge manager. So merge manager, you can go ahead and see that if I have to go ahead over here. So base object, which base object I want to check? Merge package. So we have to go ahead and select the put package for the merge as well, because we cannot create. So in the packages, when we went ahead, it's just put, right? There is no merging for anything. So put means any edit. So if I use this one, any records which are being assigned will be showcased. Which party we need to use for checking that, and we'll see. So any records which are merged or being gone into manual merge phase, we'll see them over here. So we'll select all those table, the data. It will showcase over here what is the match data for that. So over here, it will showcase what is the trust for this particular table, the data and all, and we can go ahead and merge the data from over here. It's basically utilized by the users. I think Shilpa has lost the audio. Yep, she just got disconnected. So any question, Anish over here? Anish over here?
No, for me it's clear.
So we'll just go ahead, add an address. Yeah, welcome back, Shilpa.
Yeah, got disconnected.
No problem. So when we go ahead, so you can see party IDs over here. Now you'll see IDs over here, right? So we can go ahead and change these things as well. So how we can go ahead and change these things? Schema, relationship for address, and this party ID. So you see over here, lookup display name, right? If we go ahead and change it to first name, close and save it, just see what it will do for us. Just disconnect it so that the data manager gets disconnected and gets loaded back again. In the data manager, I'll go ahead, use this display package, and once I go ahead and create, now you will see names. What the difference? What happens when we select the lookup display name?
Yeah.
Same concept is utilized in provisioning tool as well. So right now, I'm taking multiple times a name as provisioning tool. Now, what is provisioning tool? I think I have explained earlier that that is a module which is utilized to create the UI for the users, right? Let's go ahead and add. We don't have any country. We just add city as I would say substrate indicator is active. And we say we create another record with our next one. I think you can see the IDs over here. So you can see the party ID over here is with 1. Let's say this time we'll just say we are not going ahead and creating street completely, and we'll say, right? This is record ID 2, party ID is still 1. So you just go ahead, edit it with last one, still 1. Why the party ID is coming as 1? I think we need to change this to 3 so that there would be some changes. So I'll just go ahead and set up administration. We can go ahead and change the names. I'm actually trying to go ahead and run the merge job as well. So edit should be 2. That means edit. It's coming as okay. We can go to the schema party ID last name. I can go ahead and do now. Let me know if I'm actually going way too fast. Or if that is okay. You guys are able to grab hold, right? What I'm actually trying to do.
Ajay, so this we are changing, right? That lookup display name.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whatever we are seeing when we go through the query or choose a query. So here we are seeing here only that will change, right? This party
Correct.
ID.
Correct. But in the
So
backend, yeah, but in the backend, you can see that party ID is still the row ID object.
yeah, correct. So I understood it is just for
It's just for display
showcasing it there.
purposes.
Yeah.
Correct. So there are two party IDs. One is this one, and the other one is S underscore party ID. This is coming from row ID extend.
Correct. Okay.
How I can say that? We'll just go ahead and see that. We'll just say that. So basically now we will be having one as one and the other one as two. Right? So we have created yesterday one match rule, right? So the match rule was that either the registry ID should be same or the address, person name and registry ID. These things should be there, correct? So let's make it this as top. Otherwise the registry ID, this particular part will go ahead and match and we'll go ahead and get the match row IDs and records, all those things in the backend tables. So this will be treated as first tool. So you go ahead, save that. I just updated the priority that first it has to check this one. Later on, it has to check the registry ID.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, because we added the address as well, and in the address we changed the street from street to SC. This is the changes which we did, right? This is not exact. This is somewhere probabilistic right now, right? We'll just go ahead. So how to run match job? So we'll go over here in the batch viewer. For the party table, we'll go ahead and run match job as we have created. So BO party, we'll go into match, okay, or we can directly run match and auto merge. So you can see over here default, right? We are seeing three things. So default is our duplicate, but still I'm actually going ahead and selecting the duplicate and we'll just go ahead and execute. So what all jobs it will go ahead and execute? It will generate the tokens. It will go ahead and match. It will go ahead and auto merge. These three jobs will be run simultaneously, one after the other. We'll go ahead and execute it. So to check if the job is done, we'll just refresh. So once this icon will convert in itself into a tick, that means it's been. So three records were tokenized. There were nothing which went into match and merge. Why? Because there was, I think we didn't enable it. Dynamic match analysis threshold was disabled. And I forgot to enable it. So at the end, what we got over here is still this in the party table. I'll just showcase you one thing. So all the consolidation indicators becomes 2. Okay. What is our match table holds? Nothing. But we will be having the tokens which will be generated. So the tokens should be in strip table.
So here, this SSA key or SSA data, which is the token SSA key, right?
This is the token.
Okay.
This is the entire data which it took.
Yeah, what we have, I mean, what you have chosen to create, which all key and call. Okay.
Right. Registry ID was exact, so it converted that into some other data, whereas all the other data was a fuzzy match. So you can see the data is exactly the same, which it was, and it will be creating the tokens out of it. And these things we can see it in match key distribution now. How to remove those keys will be in over here. There would be a clean str. It will go ahead and clean all the tokens which are generated. So it is done. And when we go ahead and see this table will be record key. I think this should have been, this should be clean. Why didn't went ahead and clean that? I have less idea. It went complete. STRB table should be cleaned up. And it didn't. So you can go ahead and set it as 1. Other way it can go ahead and you can see reset. Any changes in match and merge will go ahead and remove everything, but the tokens are still there. I have to actually check why the tokens are not being deleted. It's basically no more records to match because the consolidation indicator for all the records are 2 over here. Okay, it went 4. Oh. Okay, I just changed that table. Then it shouldn't have run my job. So something is wrong over here. We can go ahead and run back again. And I didn't update the threshold. Nice. I didn't update the threshold. So yes. So we'll go ahead and see all these things later on as well. Once we'll go ahead and add the data. I just forgot to update the acceptance limit. That was exact. It should have matched. Why the data is not merging, I have to actually check. Because the record 1 and record 2, these things should have gone through. Because the registry ID, the second rule, should go ahead and merge those 2 records. So this is something which I have to actually check why it is not going ahead and merging it. Because there is nothing which we have gone ahead and done which is should not be, something like that. So it should have gone ahead and merged. So I'll take a look in the configuration again and we'll see if there would be anything which have been lost. At strategy, we have gone, we have changed the threshold. I don't think so there is anything which needs to be updated over here. Anyways, we'll see that thing on Monday again. I'll just check it out why it is not merging the records. Otherwise, it should have merged with these 2 records. The other part which I'm actually worried about is the population file which is there. that it's not populated or something. So I'll check this thing out with my team, that even after going ahead with all the configurations, why my data was not getting merged together. Because it is not even going into manual merge, it is not doing anything for us. So you can see these all records are there which went into match and merge. So this one and this one. This record and this record should have merged together. So if you want to go ahead and merge, so I have to actually check this record, that why it didn't went with the team. Okay, so I'm sorry about this. I didn't thought it won't merge because we have exact same. Okay, we don't have the registry ID as exact. My fault. And over here, I'm just thinking why it didn't got matched.
Oh, it's 3.6 over there. Okay.
Yeah, that's a data. And over here, I was just thinking why it didn't match. Yeah. The data is not exact. So yeah, my fault. Sorry about that. I didn't check that. I thought that I put the data according to that only, but the next one I didn't. Anyways, so I think Meher dropped off. Can you just check if Meher is coming back or he has some emergency task or something?
Yeah, I'll just check it.
Yeah, because we can go ahead and add the data later on as well, so that I can go ahead and start just the introduction about provisioning tool, what and how we'll be going ahead and seeing a provisioning tool as, so that from Monday onwards, I'll set up some data for us to go ahead and load first thing in the start. And we'll have some data which we'll be going ahead and merging and matching and merging.
Okay. So Ajay, so once we have the data in, we'll be starting from the beginning, right? I mean,
Right.
landing
So
on the...
I'll be just having the data in a CSV format or a text format or an Excel format, something like that.
Okay.
Or if I'll be having it, then I'll be having it in SQL insert queries.
Oh, okay.
Basically, we normally do not go ahead and run each job. We always run a batch group. So I'll give you both the things, that if we have to go ahead and run the stage, the load, if we are going ahead and running the match and merge.
Okay. So normally, I mean, everything will be kind of, if you say in ETL terms, kind of a workflow we will create under this batch group, and that will
Batch
be
group.
called.
Right. So that batch group we'll be going ahead and creating. So all the batch jobs which we are seeing over here, right, for each table, we can go ahead and create a batch group in which we can put a workflow kind of a thing. So I can go ahead and create a batch group for you, no issues. So we'll say party load. Okay. In this, you can see start and finish, right? In between, all the things will be added. Level below. So any table, if you'll go ahead and select, all these jobs are being taken up. So you'll just go ahead, select what you want to go ahead and select. Let's say from CRM. And if we want to have two jobs run at the same level in parallel, we'll just say add jobs to this level. So in the same level, I can have another job which will run. Now there is a concept of force update.
Mhm.
These are the load. Okay, I actually added the load. I needed to add the stage job. So always remember that, okay, I don't have the mapping. So until and unless I have the mapping, I cannot go ahead and add the staging. So you can see that over here, these are the stage jobs,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
I didn't create the mappings. So that's why there are no stage jobs.
Okay.
So when
Yeah.
a stage job is created, whenever there is a mapping which is created, if you just
Mhm.
go ahead and create landing table, it will not create anything.
Yeah. Correct.
But if you go ahead and create a mapping between landing and staging, it will create a stage process for you. If you go ahead and create staging table, it will go ahead and create load job for you.
Ah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is the mechanism. So let's say if we are going with all the tables for the stage, we'll just go ahead add both those things together. Later on for this particular part, we'll go ahead and do a add level below. We'll go ahead and load from CR. So load jobs should be always one after the other. Load jobs should not be parallel. All the stage jobs should be in parallel, no issues. If you have 5 different stage jobs, you go ahead and put 5 different stage jobs, not more than that. If you have more than that, then make it first and second level on that. 5 means we are running 5 parallel threads on the database, right? And with that, if there are certain number of get calls which are getting done, or if there are any UI changes which are getting done by that particular time, as it's, let's say it's a near to real time. So what will happen at that time would be your performance issue would be coming up. So we don't never go ahead and put more than 5 separate stage jobs in a same step. More than 5, not at all. We'll go ahead and state that it is required. Load jobs will be always in parent and child format. Or if there are 2 staging tables, one and then second, we never go ahead and put both of them together. Okay. And this particular part will be coming up only when there is a data from both the source system coming at the same time.
So
Okay.
suppose if I take party and address table, so
Yeah,
we have CRM and SAP. So then there will be 4 load jobs, right?
correct.
So all these 4 will be executing one after another.
Correct. So first thing would be
Oh.
starting up with the stage. All those parallel will be starting together.
Correct.
Then once they are completed, this job will be starting up. After this will be starting. And after this,
Hmm.
I need my
So,
address to be loaded from CRM. Then I need my address from SAP to be loaded.
hmm.
That is how we go ahead and do. And this particular load from both the source system is only when you are getting from both the source at the same time. If you're getting one source at one time, then never create your group like this. Always create 2 separate groups, one for CRM and one for SAP.
You mean like today, if I'm loading the data and if I don't have CRM, then don't go with this batch which covers SAP also.
Correct.
Is
So
that?
we correct. So what we do in that part is, so this is when we have both the data,
Yeah.
okay, which is coming from sources together. If we do not have anything like this, then we'll always choose according to source system. We'll be like stage jobs for CRM, then load job for CRM, and then again load job of. Like this, we'll be going ahead and doing. Then we'll be going ahead and doing a match and merge. So there is one way we can go ahead and do match and merge directly. So we'll use this. This is a complete load part. That is how we go ahead and add. So the staging tables will be all together. Load job will be parent, child, and then on, so in and so on. And we always have a separate group for all the lookup tables.
Ajay, these batch groups, whatever you're creating, will be
Yeah.
scheduled or like how it will be running? Like, is it scheduled from the MDM or are we connecting from the Informatica to run this?
No. So we are not connecting the Informatica or the scheduling. No scheduling can be done from any MDM tool. Till
Mhm,
yet, there is no scheduling mechanism from MDM,
mhm,
from any tool, not even just Informatica. Even in IBM, Stibo, TIBCO was earlier, so there is no TIBCO anymore. If you go with RelTO, if you go with any other MDM tool, there is no scheduling mechanism. All the scheduling is done outside MDM, and that is done via cron, tidal, any kind of schedulers, and that is where your CLI commands are needed or comes into play. Okay.
Uh,
Uh, can you be more clear? Like CLI commands, fine.
Yeah.
From which tool we are using?
So over here we do not have a cron, as cron is utilized in Unix. I mean, welcome
Front
back.
tab. Okay. Uh-huh.
Then there is a tidal. It's an application, third-party application, which can be installed on Unix as well as Windows. Okay. On those, we go ahead and use the command line interface to run those jobs. So I can go ahead and so the commands which I was actually going ahead and stating, right? So you'll see all the documents. This resource kit will be utilized. So you can see all these are there. So this will be utilized to execute stage, batch. We mostly utilize stage group, batch group, right? So this batch group is basically like this. So this particular name, we'll go ahead and change over here in the batch group name. And we'll put the username and the password. And wherever our resource kit to trigger it is there, we'll go to that particular job or that particular location, and then we go ahead and run this particular command. This resource kit is always given by Informatica itself. So whenever there is an installed version, you can go ahead and see it in Informatica/MDM/resource kit. And over there would be a file which will be a sh file, a shell script. Over there, you will go ahead and execute that with this entire set of values, parameters. That will go ahead and run the proper prompts. See over here, they have stated execute batch jobs. Over here, they have gone ahead and run status. connection properties path. So that is how we'll be getting a path. We'll go ahead over there and we'll run that. All these jobs are over here. Can give you this link over here itself. This will be useful for you whenever you go ahead and use it for scheduling. And only this will be utilized in a scheduler. Any scheduler with whatever you will be utilizing in at your customer's premises. It might be. So 90% of the people actually utilize Tidal or Cron. 10% go with their own schedulers or something else in the entire things which are coming. So those are details. Now coming back to force update. What do you mean by force update? Force update means even if there is no update in any attribute, still I want to go ahead and update the latest update time. I can use force update. Force update makes the record to update even if there is a single attribute which is, let's say, last update date needs to be updated. There is nothing else which needs to be updated, so the record may go into no action. So once we will be loading the data, I'll showcase you those scenarios as well, where we go ahead. And in most of the cases, people actually utilize, whenever there is a batch group, people actually utilize force update as enabled. Because that gives a upper hand over any data which is going for staging, not go into no action. No action means there is no XREF update, there is no BO update, there is nothing which is being updated for that particular record.
Can we use this, like you said, right, like for CRM and SAP, it should be two different if CRM data is not coming today. You said that way. So if it is not coming today, suppose in that case, if can we use this force update so that CRM and SAP will both run and CRM just
CRM and SAP both will run. So in your case, what you are stating that my data for SAP is not there. So let's say right now in my table, even in my staging table or my landing table, there is no data, right? So still, if I'll go ahead and do a load from CRM, it will run. If I'll go ahead and run with a force update, or if I run with no force update, it will just go ahead and state that entire things are zero. It does not affect, but the problem with that would be the earlier data which might be there in staging table will get updated. If a person has gone ahead and updated a record, then the earlier record which came from SAP will get updated again. It will be an update. It won't be a revert, because revert means it would be in a pending and the person or the manager or someone is canceling that update. It would be treated as an update on that particular attribute. So whenever we go ahead and design the ETL side, push the landing, right? So at that time, we would be knowing that what will be the frequency of load. So that is handled always in the ETL. So what we do is, in that area where you're stating, so in the ETL, we have something called as SQL transformation. Okay. So in that we see if my count is 0, which has been inserted into landing table, then a SQL job will run, which will or call the delete functionality, or just go ahead and run a delete SQL to clean up the stage environment or the stage table. So for that particular stage table, that entire staging table will be deleted. So you can utilize the same batch group for both the loads, because even if the load or the data is not coming up, by this has been showcased over here. Let me, because there was load tables as well. That's why I just went ahead and removed that. Yeah. So even if there won't be any data, so it will go ahead and remove the data from the stage table. So there will be 0 data which will be there. So your entire thing which will be done or will be showcased for that particular data in a batch viewer or in the control, it will showcase as 0 over everywhere. So if I'll go ahead and just run, let's say run this one. So I just have to go over here, execute. There is nothing which is there. So I'll just go ahead and refresh everything. So you can see what all tables are going ahead. And it's done. And my complete tables are in showcased over here. So it would be something like this. Okay. So your SAP which was not coming. So this one, and this one, it will be treated as exactly same. So force update when you're using, so force update is utilized. So let's say there were 5 records which needs to be updated. In that 3 records which came in was exactly same how it was. Just the last update date was changed.
Okay.
This is not a useful column for me, because if my user attributes are not updated for me, that means what should I do with it? It's fine for me, right?
Okay.
Because the data which was updated was address.
Okay.
Correct. So my parent has to be there, hence my child came in for referential integrity. Correct. So child was updated. So for my referential integrity check between stage table, my parent has to come in. Correct. That is a must at that point. Correct.
Yeah, got it.
But in my parent, there is nothing which is. So if I'll go ahead and force update, it will go ahead and update the latest last updated date attribute, and it will change nothing for that particular record, and the record will not go into no action. It will go as an update.
Yeah, got it. Got it.
So that is where force update is good.
Okay.
Second way is whenever we go ahead and create reference tables, right? Reference tables are not usually updated as frequently. So we go ahead and create unique attributes. So whenever we go ahead and create unique attributes, there is a problem with Informatica. If you go ahead and try to update that particular record, and the unique attribute, basically you won't change it, right? So sometimes it will go ahead and send that particular record, even if there is an update in that particular attribute, it will send the entire data into no action. But when we go ahead and use the force update, it has to update that particular data, whatever is there.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So whenever we use to update any reference table, we make sure that we go ahead with the force update,
Mhm.
because there are
Okay.
multiple unique records over there. And if any
Yeah.
single record is coming up with a minor change in any description or anything, it won't let you update that. Then you have to go with a force update. You're telling the tool that I don't care what your program is written. I need those data to be updated. Even if it is same, I need those data to be there inside. It's simply that. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So there are only 8 minutes which are left. So I'll just go ahead quickly. So whenever we go ahead and want to use provisioning tool or E360, from user standpoint or from developer standpoint, I would state the best recommendation which has been stated always is to use a incognito mode. The only reason behind it is these two both are actually utilize the cache to go ahead and fetch the entire configuration from the cache itself if the data or the cache has not been released. Whenever you go ahead and run it next time as well, it doesn't try to go ahead and fetch the new configuration. It will fetch if it will be present in your cache. So sometimes this tool has a very good ability to make you frustrated without having any issues. It's a very good quality in this particular tool. And that is something which users will go ahead and bug you with, because they don't try to go with a private. So whenever you go ahead and utilize it, always remember to go into incognito and then use the provisioning tool. So this is what something your provisioning tool will look like. We'll go ahead and select the database, whatever we want. And it's, yeah, I just went ahead and updated. Okay, perfect. It will be needing to clean up the component instance. Nice. I thought that it would be still there. So the others, this one, this will not be having any issues. But my CMX ORS is having issues because the earlier configuration which we went ahead and cleaned up, that changes are not being there in cleaned up in CMX ORS. But in sample ORS, we didn't clean up anything. There would be certain number of things which will be there. So if I go ahead, it will still say that it is having some problem, because there would be multiple business entities which will be going ahead and giving us issues. So I'll be cleaning up all those things so that we can have a fresh start from my side. That there won't be any configuration which will be there. Okay. So over here, what all things we'll be going ahead. And these are basically the charts. These are just the information, nothing else. You can go ahead and click as many times as you want. This is nothing. So hierarchy designer and network designer is something which they have gone ahead and added in the 10.4 architecture or provisioning tool. Charts is something they stated that they went ahead and added it, but still there are certain number of issues which are coming up in 10.4. They are clearing up those things. Elasticsearch index, they have gone ahead and enhanced it. So this configuration is in the backend when we go ahead and install it. So I'll just showcase you how it will be seen. So if we go over here in the process server, you will see over here as search over here. So this is enabled, and this Elasticsearch will be seen if there would be any extra node will be added up. So index setting is there, but there is no cluster which is being created for that. So Elasticsearch is enabled, but there is no extra or a separate server for it. Okay, so that is something which we will be seeing over here. So everything which is over here, we'll see there would be either a new functionality which they have added, or which they want to showcase that, okay, this is something which we added for you guys, or something which they went ahead and enhanced the performance of it. Okay, everything which a developer has to go ahead and create will be in this and over here. Except these, this one, mostly this one as well. These are one-time utilization only. Infrastructure setting is done by admin people in the initial part of the MDM when they go ahead and install the product. Whereas these we'll be working on multiple levels. From in starting, in enhancements, in many cases. So this is where we'll be going ahead and creating the physical model of a physical model to showcase on UI. Because we created over here, the physical model we have already created, right? We will be creating a physical model over here according to what is the requirement. Why I created an entity object with 3 different types of entities, because over here I will showcase that how it will be look like when we go ahead and create 3 different logical entities on that physical entity. And it will be treated as a physical entity to go ahead and create the records for employees in separate sections. So entire provisioning tool is only to create UI for the users to manipulate the data for a website kind of a look and feel. That's the job of provisioning tool. It takes the help of the configuration which we created in Hub Console.